Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And as you know by the title, I'm doing a hair and makeup transformation. The first thing that I'm doing is just outlining where this wig will lay so that I don't spray too much Got To Be on her hairline. And then I use this Ruby Kisses palette to better match the lace with her skin tone, and I put the wig back on. And I'm basically going to use my comb to press the lace into the Got To Be freeze spray that I had sprayed in order to make sure that this wig is in place and not gonna budge. And these side tabs on our closure, I don't like to leave them there. They really serve no purpose, so I cut them off before I take my razor and I cut off the excess lace. Here I'm just spraying some Got To Be on the back of my hand and using my rat tail to spread that against the parts of the lace, the edges of the lace that were not laying down. And then I wrapped her head around, and I'm going to go ahead and style the top, flatten the top. I have a whole video on how you would do that, so definitely check it out. As you know, if you watch that video, I like to use mousse to really mold the top of my closure on my wigs, to flatten it out, to make the hair lay in the directions that I want them to lay in. And you'll just see me doing this for like a little while before I blow dry it on a heat setting. Once the hair was dry, I did begin to hot comb her hair, and the hot comb just really helps with getting the top like super flat as you need it to be. I also did go in with my wax stick. I took off the band because I wanted to make sure that the very edges of this closure were laid with this hot comb. And I'm not even gonna lie, like I will hot comb the top of a closure or a frontal for like 20 minutes or maybe even more, half because this hot comb is one of the ones that you plug in, so sometimes you have to let it sit down, let it get hot again before you keep going. But really I just do this because I'm OCD and I want this to be very, very flat. And if it's not getting flat how you need it to be, part it in small sections as I did and hot comb it that way. This widow's peak, like I'm living for the widow's peak, but the widow's peak was lifting a little bit, so I did just use my Got To Be free spray to spray that in and let that dry. With the hot comb, as you can see, you can use the back of it to flatten it out. You can use the comb, the teeth to flatten it out. Use whatever you need to use with this hot comb, but just use the hot comb for sure. Once I was kind of happy with the top, I started her makeup. And the first thing that I like to do is set the brows with some loose translucent powder. And I'm filling in her brows with Anastasia pomade. Listen, I had to like bring the product back to life because it was dry, then it turned watery, so these eyebrows look a mess. But don't worry, because that's what concealer is for. And I'm actually cleaning it up with the LA Pro Girl concealer in Fawn. This day I was just like all messed up. I couldn't find my angle brush to fill in the brows, which is why they went on so messy. I couldn't find my favorite Morphe brush to clean up the brows, which is why I'm using this one. It was just a mess, but it's gonna come out right anyway, so don't stress. To serve as a base for my eyeshadow, of course, I drag the concealer onto the whole eyelids and I blend it out. I'm going for like a fall look today with the eyes, so I grabbed my Urban Decay Honey palette and I'm using the brown all the way to the right, the darkest brown in the palette. With this blending brush, I'm just slapping this color all over her eyelids, like literally. I bring the color up towards the front of the brows more than I do bring it up towards the back where the arch of her brow is, if you can understand what I mean. If you don't, rewind that and listen to that again. I'm just blending it in, making sure that I am dissolving any harsh lines, and I still want to make sure that you see that highlight under the arch of her brow. Using my fingers, I'm using this gold, rose gold, bronzy color in the same palette, and I'm also using my fingers to put this all over her lid. Her lid is very small. She has hooded eyes. This is my sister. We both have hooded eyes, but hers are smaller than mine. So in order to make sure that this color is visible when she looks straight ahead, I'm making her a new crease with my fingers, and I'm bringing this color way above her natural crease. When I was done popping that shimmer shade onto her lid, I used the same brush in the same color that I had used initially to really blend that brown into that gold and to really, what word should I use, sharpen that new crease that I gave her so it could look like maybe this is her crease. I didn't prime her face because she had just did her skincare routine, and I am putting on her foundation with a brush, Real Techniques brush. I still like to use a beauty blender just to further smoothen out that foundation that I had just blended. I did go in with the fawn shade again to highlight her chin, the center of her forehead, the bridge of her nose, as well as under her eyes. And typically I like to use a beauty blender to blend this out, but you could also use a brush, it's fine. As you guys can see here in the corner, I kind of took the concealer too high up into the eyeshadow, but I just took that eyeshadow brush again, filled in whatever I messed up, and then I kept going. After I used all the liquid products on her face, it's time to use the powders. I'm setting her highlighter with the Laura Mercier translucent powder mixed in with the Laura Mercier honey powder, and I just think those two colors work perfectly for somebody who is deeper in skin tone. I really like to blend out my highlights as much as I can, except for the sides of the nose and down the center of the nose. I like to keep those more of like the areas where I would bake, because I really want to accentuate the nose contour. After I set the brighter parts of her face with a brighter powder, I'm using a flesh toned powder now to set the rest of her face where just the foundation is. And I like to tap the powder end as well as buff it in using circular motions just to really make sure that her face will not be oily, the makeup won't be moving around, and you know, this powder I also really love because it just makes you look airbrushed in my opinion. In order to contour her face, I have her suck in her cheeks, and I'm using this Fenty bronzer, which I think looks so beautiful on deeper skin tones to really accentuate her cheekbones. This color is beautiful. Like the red warm undertones in this shade is unbelievable. Congratulations, Rihanna, like you did the damn thing with that. So of course I'm also going to contour her forehead, like dodging the lace as much as possible, of course. And then I move on to her jawline, where I just slim it out just a little bit, chisel it out just a little bit. And back with my beauty blender, back with my Laura Mercier translucent powders, I'm cleaning up her cheeks, cleaning up that contour that I had just did, and making sure that she just looks absolutely chiseled, because why not? Okay, so boom, moving on to my favorite part of makeup right now, blush. And I am going to pack it on with the blush. Pack it on, pack it on, pack it on. Yes, ma'am, why not? Okay, so I did mention that the Fenty bronzer is more red, it's more warm. So for her nose contour, I didn't want to use that. I used the two shades in the Black Radiance palette instead because it's more of a contour shade. It's more brown, it's more of a shadow. So, of course, I'm chiseling out that nose, bringing the contour up into the new crease and up into her brows. And then I still also add this contour shade to her cheek contour as well. The Fenty powder and this contour palette from Black Radiance, they blend beautifully together. And when that's done, I was just sweeping away all of my Laura Mercier powders, also using the same powder brush that had her flesh toned powder on it from MAC. Okay, I love this powder. You should love this powder. You should try this powder. I still like to highlight and to glow, y'all, but I like a glow from within vibe instead of like you just look so trophy like vibe. So I'm using a glow kit from Anastasia for this, and I'm using like some soft glow colors, putting it on her nose, her forehead, her chin, every point of her face in which I feel like when the light hits, I want it to shine mildly, but still shine. So onto my favorite setting powder of them all. This is the MAC Fix Plus, and I'm spraying that, and then I'm dabbing that spray into her skin just to really make sure that her skin is absorbing this moisture, and then I go for round 2 and repeat. To blend these Leilani lashes from House of Aim better with her real lashes, I'm just tight lining. And then I also do add this black to her waterline. And to further blend the lashes together, I love to take my mascara and I just wiggle the mascara where her real lashes meet the false ones. Listen guys, like I don't think I'll ever buy another lip liner again, because what I'm using to line her lips right now is literally the same eyeshadow color that I used from the Honey palette. Isn't that crazy? And then I'm using this Anastasia lip palette. I blended like 3 colors. I'll put it in the description box to get this beautiful pinky peachish color. Like, I don't even know what it is, but it looks so good. And then I sprayed her face again. I really think FAQS Plus is just perfect. Like, FAQS Plus, look at her, look at her. What powder? Like, it's a matte face, but she doesn't look so powdery at all, and FAQS Plus is the answer for that. So I'm finishing up her hair, flat ironing it in small pieces, and of course this luscious beautiful hair is from House of Vain. This wig was handmade by me. I also have a video on my channel as far as how I like to make my wig, so if you want to check that out, I will link it in this video. This is the Fantasia Spritz. I'm just using it along her hairline to really make sure that the hair in the front is molded back. I'm just using my rat tail comb to smooth that spritz into the hair and to really mold the hair backwards. Once it gets nice and tacky, then I take the back of my hot comb and I just dry it up a little bit further with that, and this is what it'll look like. I told you guys I'm very obsessed with the hot comb. I'm very obsessed with making the top of the hair flat, so here I am, like, doing it again even though I had already done it, but don't mind me. Child, I am living. Okay, widow's peak. Okay, hairline. Okay, what lace? And of course, I'm just gonna do the same thing to the other side. Get over my OCD. When all of the hair was flat ironed, I added a dash of bio silk to the top of her hair and to all of her hair, really, just to add some shine and lay down some annoying flyaway hair. And as you can see from my hand, I mixed a couple colors from that Ruby Kisses palette to get this shade, and I'm just highlighting her scalp so that it could be more pronounced and more realistic, and that was it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to my sister for being my model. Like this video if you like the video. Leave me a comment down there. I love to talk to you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.